So today on Backstage with Billy, there's an amazing stage show which is going to be heading to the Opera House in Manchester, telling the story of, I would say, three of the biggest comedians of our time. There was Eric Morecambe, there was Tommy Cooper, and everybody knew Bob Monkhouse, obviously from TV shows, game show host. But nevertheless, this reimagined stage show tells a story, and obviously a moment when these three artists are together. But today, I am joined by, obviously, I would say Bob Monkhouse, the actor himself, Simon Cartwright. Simon, tell us about Last Laugh.
Well, you've given a beautiful introduction and a context there, Billy. So thank you for that. The thing is, one doesn't want to give spoilers, but I will say it's a very poignant, nostalgic delve into an imagined moment in comedy history, and there's something quite sort of, in a way, dreamlike. It's a bit of a nocturne because we don't know exactly when it's taking place, and it's certainly got a very sort of quite emotional ending. If you've seen the short film that we made back in 2016, you'll obviously sort of get a sense of how the story goes. But it is this unique opportunity of pulling together some of the country's finest British comedians going back sort of 40, 50 years. Eric Morecambe, played by Bob Golding, and the wonderful Tommy Cooper, played by the equally wonderful Damian Williams, and myself, reimagining in Bob Monkhouse. So these three guys find themselves in a dressing room. I suppose you could say it's on a cloud, really. We don't know where it is. We're all in our minds in different places, perhaps going off to do our final shows, although that's not necessarily the case. And we analyze comedy. We just have this extraordinary conversation about how we get laughs, how we look at comedy. And of course, if you think of those three comics, how contrasting they are. You have Tommy Cooper, who was this man mountain of physicality, and I mean, he would get laughs with a grunt and a cough. It was a real funny bones man. Eric Morecambe, equally funny, I suppose, in terms of funny bones, but he relied very much on very fast, sort of quick-witted lines, and obviously setups and punchlines, with Ernie being the straight man. And then, of course, Bob Monkhouse, who was very much well, a fine and funny, brilliant stand-up comedian, especially in clubland. And he would have played in Manchester many, many times in the sort of 60s and 70s. Hugely successful, one of the finest nightclub comics we've ever had. But Bob, by his own admission, didn't set out to have funny bones. He was more reliant on clever words and hilarious jokes. And he modeled himself very much on the American style of comedian. So if you think of sort of Bob Hope particularly, he thought it was better to look smart, not like a duffer, and to be very quick-witted. Latterly in life, he reflected on that, and he kind of thought, well, if I'd let people in and been a bit more vulnerable and less veneered, maybe I would have gone down better. But towards the end of his life, he certainly got the recognition, the ambassadorship that he deserved, from the industry. Everybody looked at him and thought, oh yeah, he does know what he's doing, and he is incredibly skilled. So that's it. It's a beautiful 80 minutes on stage. You will certainly laugh your socks off, and there'll be lots of poignancy and tears as well. And it's just a unique moment that's receiving love as we tour the country. As I talk to you at this point in time, we're now starting week 4 of the tour. We've been so far in York, Newcastle, Richmond in London, and this week we're just doing a run in Sheffield. So we're loving it, and the audiences are mixed, varied, and it's so nice to see the younger generation coming in, tapping into this genre of comedy. So hopefully I've sold it to you in some way, shape, or form.
Well, like I said, I watched the short film, obviously for research reasons, and you sounding and looking like Bob Monkhouse you have to see this. I mean, as you've seen Simon right now, but when you see Simon in makeup and when he's obviously Bob Monkhouse and the sound of him, go on, give us a little a teaser.
Billy, I'm just trying to think what Bob Monkhouse would say if he was on your radio show now, and he'd say, well, Billy, it's a joy to see you on Zoom, and you have a terrific face for radio. You really do, my friend.
Simon, I love you. This amazing show is heading to the Opera House in Manchester from the 29th of July. It's had rave reviews. It's got obviously celebrity backing endorsements as well, because obviously I've seen all that. But nevertheless, I am so looking forward to seeing this live on stage. Obviously, with these three iconic actors playing these, let's say, magical roles. Obviously, Bob Golden, Damian Williams, and of course, Simon Cartwright taking on the role of Bob Monkhouse. Like I said, this is going to be gag central. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun. Most importantly, do you know what? I'm so glad you're coming to Manchester on the 29th of July at the Opera House.
And we are too. You know what? The temperatures may get cooler as you go up the country and go further north, but the hearts and the laughs get warmer. We definitely think there's lots of love up north, and we're so thrilled to be here.
I'll tell you right now, they're going to go wild. Honestly, they really are. Grab your tickets, atgtickets.com. Come along and see Last Laugh at the Opera House in Manchester, 29th of July. Simon, thank you for joining me today with Backstage with Billy.
Been lovely talking. You take care.